Hello everyone, and I don't know if you guys, okay, there was frustrated. Okay, there we go. I'm back. Yay. I don't know what's happening. I don't know if you can see me when that is happening. I was having ring light troubles. That's why I'm 5 minutes late. And then now I'm having internet apparently troubles. But I've turned the Wi-Fi off. I have a feeling it's something to do with them working outside. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say they hit something because that wouldn't surprise me. It looks like our guest is here. Let's see if I can bring her on. Motherhood and rebuilding yourself. We can obviously dive in pretty deep in this topic. So I'm super excited to have this conversation today. Hey, thank you so much for joining. I hope I don't cut out. I've had some technical difficulties with my internet, so I've turned the Wi-Fi off, and hopefully, it still keeps going.
No worries. Hi, Rich. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Awesome. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great, thank you.
So I just let everyone to know okay. My brain is thinking faster than my words. I just let everyone know what today's topic is about, resilience in motherhood and rebuilding yourself. So I would love to give you an opportunity to come on, introduce yourself, let us know who you are, what you do, what you're all about, and then we can jump into this topic.
Absolutely. Thank you, Trish. And thank you for having me. And so I'm Natalie Mora. I'm a life coach for moms, Latino moms. I actually live here in the United States in Florida. I've moved from Colombia, so I'm originally from Colombia. And a lot of my background comes from my psychology degree, and then I started working as a life coach for moms specifically because it's something I'm very passionate about. So I'm the CEO and founder of Natalie Mora Coaching, and that's my passion. I just obviously it has a lot to do with my own story and how I was able to rebuild myself and how I was able to overcome a lot of the challenges, especially with getting divorced and with my own son, which is my inspiration and the reason why I do the things that I do. So this is why resilience is one of those topics that I love. And so thank you for inviting me and having me to have this conversation.
Yeah, I'm so excited. So I really want to jump in and ask you, what does resilience mean to you?
Yes. Oh, so to me, like the short answer is just picking yourself up, not giving up. If you ask me for like the more structured definition, it will be just kind of like the ability that we have to just bounce back from any challenge situation that we have, any, situations that we might experience where we don't like it. We don't like it. And is that part of you that even though you might be beaten down, that you're not feeling good, that you still have that part inside of you that is saying, yes, I'm going to do it for myself because I deserve it. And so that's what resilience means to me is you just being able to pick up yourself from the ashes, just stand up with your head high and continue because it's worth it.
Yeah, I totally agree. That's the same for me. It's the ability to come back from whatever that experience has
Mm-hmm.
been that is trying to throw you off. And
Absolutely.
I think, especially as moms, we have two choices. I mean, everyone has choices, but we can let those experiences take us out. And for that doesn't give our kids the quality of life that they deserve.
Yeah,
Or we can be resilient, we can come back, and we can come back even stronger. And
absolutely. That you said it. It's just that we do have an option, but I feel like as a mom, at the end of the day, it's like you don't have an option. You need to keep going, and you do it for yourself and for them because they're the engine that keeps you going.
yeah,
And you want to make sure that you are equipped, that like you get to equip them with the necessary tools so that in the future, whenever they find themselves in these challenging situations, they're able to bounce back and be able to just keep going.
yeah. And you show them, you lead, you're the example, right? So for your kids, you are the example of, hey, bad shit happens. It's gonna happen to all of us. It's a part of life.
Mhm.
But how do we navigate that, and what do we choose to do with those events that happen to us?
Absolutely. And I feel like that's the key, what you just said there. We usually just try to not show them because we don't want them to see us maybe sad or stressed or being vulnerable because we're being taught that you got it. You have to be strong. You have to just be able to just keep going. Don't ask for help. You got it. And you have to do it all on your own. That's usually like the concept. And just being able to show them that's not really how it works. Life has its ups and downs, and it's, at the end, ultimately it's up to you, but we are here to show them how because we are here to provide them with those tools.
Yeah, exactly. I would love for you to share a bit of your journey and how you had to rebuild yourself.
Yes. So my journey, like I said, I'm from Colombia, so I've moved here 16 years ago, and I moved here because I was in love. I just moved with my, long life partner. We got married, and we were very young when we got married, and then my son came. And when he was born is when I immediately started like realizing that now I was responsible for this life. Someone, a new human, and I was supposed to guide him when I was still trying to figure out my own life. With that being said, as time passes and my son was here, he came to just like be in the mirror, like every kid comes to be. That's their role, just to show you those parts of yourself that you haven't like accepted or you just don't like about yourself, and they just bring it all out. And that's when I started to realize that there were things I wanted to change. I didn't like the way that I was disconnected from myself. And obviously, that was creating a disconnection between me and my ex partner. And that disconnect just got bigger. And having a kid is like you have to be a team, you have to be aligned, you have to be in the same frequency and being connected. And that was not the case anymore. And things started to just get even worse. And that was impacting obviously all of us, but my son especially. And I started seeing how he was just being into a like to a point he got to be a little bit more aggressive. Our communication was completely broken. I was always questioning myself as a mom. Am I doing the right thing? Because I was not enjoying it. And I knew it was the dynamic of the family. And even though we try to have the conversations and try to figure out things, it was just the dynamic. We were completely disconnected. Our goals were not longer the same goals. And that's when I had to make the decision, the hardest decision of just getting divorced and ending my long relationship. And it was ultimately, and I know this is something that causes a debate for a lot of people because a lot of people that you talk to or that that are going through something similar, a separation or a divorce, the main reason why they stay in that relationship is because of their kids. In this
Yeah.
case, the decision of why I needed to end it and I thought it was the best decision, and it has been so far, is I needed to just get that, like just separate, go on our separate ways, which is not easy. That is not the easiest way out. If anyone asks me, it's probably the hardest.
Yeah.
Like being able to spend the time, all the time with your son or with your kid. But it was ultimately because I wanted him to see a different side. Like that was not the what I wanted him to see as a healthy couple, as a healthy relationship. And I wanted to give him the opportunity to see his parents in a more happy way and more
Yeah.
stable, even if it was in separate ways, if that makes sense.
It makes,
That's-
for me, it makes total sense because
Mhm,
I agree with absolutely everything you've just said. You know, I was with my ex for 16 years. She makes so much noise. I was with my ex for 16 years, 3 kids later. We were married for 11 years. Making that decision to end our family was the
mhm,
hardest decision I've ever had to make in my entire life. And what a lot of people, a lot of people say stay for the kids. We
mhm,
stayed together with kids for years longer than we should have stayed together. And now, I mean, I was the bitch that had to make the decision, right? Like that's
mhm,
someone had to make the decision. It just happened to be me. but
Yeah.
last July, or the July that just passed, I believe, he finally said to me that was I was angry when you left, but I'm happy you did because we're both happier now, and the kids are happier for that, right?
Same. Yeah, it's the same for me. And that's when I was able to identify my passion for moms and why I do what I do, because I was able to see how I turn my relationship with my son like it was a 360. I was able to be vulnerable with him, show him, yeah, mommy was hurting, or mommy was hurting before. Now I get to rebuild myself. And, since we're talking about the resilience and just going back to the basic and just letting him know, I'm here, I love you, and this is how we're gonna do it. So the main change, it wasn't my son, it was
Yeah.
me. I needed to be the one changing. It was me who decided that I didn't want to continue my life to be the way that it was after making the hardest decision I ever made, and just showing my son that there's always an opportunity for better. And that's why my main focus is with moms, especially like Latino moms, like I said, because of my
Yeah.
background. Our background is completely different. The ways that we were raised back in our countries is different, but raising kids here in the United States, that cultural background it comes and is definitely different. And just making sure that moms know that it is possible. It is possible, and it all starts with you, with ourselves.
Yeah.
It starts from the inside out, and you are able to rebuild that relationship not only with yourself, but then everyone around you, including your kids in this
Yeah.
case.
And so when it comes to rebuilding yourself, I know the work that goes into it. You know the work that goes into it. But let's share with the audience what goes into actually rebuilding yourself. What is that process? It's a big self-discovery process.
Yes. I think like the first step for me, and what I always work with the moms is, you need to take care of yourself first. That is not what we were taught. That is not what we were. It was always be take care of everyone else, and then if you have time or if you have any energy left, then you go and take care of yourself. And that was the first like mind shift for me. I needed to take care of myself first to be able to be 100% present for my son.
Yeah.
So that is like the first step. It's not easy. It just requires you to be brutally honest with you and understand who you are, who you want to be, and how are you going to get there. And during that process was I needed to just show compassion towards myself, love myself. And how did I do it? Just from my own experience and what I've done with the moms that I work with is just understanding what are your passions. Who are you outside of being a mom, like you, outside of all the other roles that you play in life? Who are you? Going back to the basics. What did you always enjoy doing in the past? What is it that gives you the energy, the passion? And that kind of like starts, it's taking one day at a time, because it's a process and it's a long process. I wish we can do it overnight, but that is not the case, and it takes time. So that is the first step. I think like second step will be to just self-reflect and allowing your emotions, recognizing your emotions, which is even harder because majority of what we heard in the past is, and I'm really happy that the speech is changing and the way that we're talking about like emotional intelligence. Before it was like, don't cry, just chop your emotions. It's not important. You don't need to be sad. You just need to be happy. No, now it's more like just self-reflect and just sit yourself with the uncomfortable feelings and just let them go through you. Just observe them. And something that I do and I always recommend is journaling,
Yeah.
because journaling allows you to put it into words, what you're feeling, what you're thinking, your emotions. And that's the part that allows you to go back and say, okay, this is how I'm feeling. Why am I feeling like this? What is this trying to show me? And just taking the opportunity of, instead of asking like, why is this happening to me? More like, what is this for? What am I supposed to get out of this
What is
experience?
this
Which is,
trying to teach me is one of the biggest
yeah.
pieces. Whenever
Mhm.
my life has gone to shit, that is the one thing I will sit back and I'm like, okay, this isn't
Yeah.
happening to me. This is happening for me. What is this trying to teach me? And let me tell you, there have been moments. I have slept on couches many times in the length of my relationship when my ex and I were together. And instead of being pissed off that I'm the one sleeping on a couch, what is this trying to teach me?
Mhm.
What is the lesson here? What am I meant to learn? And that is the biggest growth. Ask yourself.
Yes, absolutely. And I have to tell you, that wasn't easy for me because I came from the why is this happening to me? And then just sitting in that discomfort and allowing to do that. That comes with self-awareness and just understanding this is how I'm feeling and what is this for? Like, what am I gonna do with this? Is it teaching me? What is the lesson here? And then just trying to keep that positive outlook. That doesn't mean that you have to be positive all the time. It just means that to try to look at the positive out of every challenge or difficult situation as much as you can, because sometimes it's very difficult, but that after that I should say that another like step to rebuild yourself will be to find that support system. I don't know about you, but from my own experience, I used to just isolate myself whenever I was feeling and going through hard times, and I was like, nope, because I had got this. I don't want anyone to know I'm suffering. I don't want anyone to know that I'm in pain, and just being super strong because that's what I was supposed to be. And then just allowing myself to, I don't have to, and I have people around me that are there to support me, even if it's just to listen to you, just to lend a hand, to just let you know you're gonna be okay. And that's really important, whether it's your friends, family, even if it's, professional as well. In this case, as a coach, just having someone that can help you just to guide you through that process, someone that is from the outside,
Yeah,
that can give you a different perspective and can allow
exactly.
you to, it's neutral.
Yeah.
It's neutral, and then you can just let it all out, and then just that person is there for you to guide you. Like in this case, what I do with the month is just guide them through those feelings, through that thought process, through the experience, and be that accountability partner in a way, because we don't want to do it alone. So
We're
that's the
not meant
accountability.
to do it alone. We're meant to have the support. We're meant to, like, I am so grateful. I have one of my closest friends. I've never actually met her in person. I met her online. She
Uh-huh.
lives across the world from me. And her and I are always there, to celebrate each other. But in the times when we're going through the hard pieces, as entrepreneurs in the online space, and we're the first person. I'm the first person. She comes.
Mhm.
She's the first person I go to because you need that person, you need that perspective, and to be honest, sometimes you need someone to virtually slap you in the face and say, "Smarten the fuck up!" Like, what are
That
you
too.
doing?
That too. I agree. Because sometimes you just don't want to have people that are going to agree with you. You want to have that one person that is just going to tell you as it is.
Yeah,
And luckily for me, I do have that person in my life that loves me so much. As that's my brother, and he will be like, "Okay, I hear you, but this is what's happening.
yeah,
I need you to understand this." And I'm like, yeah, that little reality check is necessary as well. So it's not just finding someone that it's gonna like allow you to continue to be in that victim mentality. It's someone that
yeah.
is actually gonna lift you up and be like, okay, I get it. You're going through this, but come on,
Yeah.
you got
You're not
this.
a
And
victim
yeah.
anymore. You've got this. Take control of your life and start making the decisions. And when you're like coming out of a toxic relationship, for me, that was my experience. A lot of it is as you're rediscovering who you are, it's time to start getting really selfish, and you feel really selfish. And that's kind of going to go into what I was going to ask you next. But
Mhm.
it can feel really selfish, but the thing is, you have to put you first. You have to put your growth, your feelings, your experiences, your emotions, all of the things that you are moving through first.
Mhm.
Because if you don't, you can't pour into everyone else. You can't pour into your kids. You can't be that example. You
Mhm.
can't lead them the way you truly want to.
Absolutely. Yeah, and you talk about being selfish. I agree. It was the same for me. I feel like I was just being, now all that matters is me. But that wasn't really the behind of it. It was more like, yes, I need to take care of myself because I haven't done it for so long. Then now I'm able to, I'm aware that this is the first step. This is where it starts. Just taking care of myself. And I feel like it also comes back to having that balance, right? Taking care of yourself, making sure that you're dedicating the time. But I mean, life also goes on. You're a mom, you work full time, business owner, everything else that is happening in life. So it's just finding that balance as well, where you can, okay, I took time for myself. I'm good. I recharge just like my phone. I have to, charge it every so often. And then now let me open all the other apps and let's do
Yeah.
everything else that I need to do, so that you can be as productive as you can, as well as effective, and then just be able to also celebrate your small wins,
Yeah.
which is like, I think the fourth step when you ask me, how did I do it? It was celebrating the small wins, which, to be honest with you, has been the hardest thing to do for me, because I have made so much progress. And sometimes I look back and I'm like, I'm still at the same place. And then I'm like, no, wait, no, absolutely no. Things have changed. Things are better in so many other areas. Life isn't perfect. I'm not aiming for perfection. That is just, to me, it's just an illusion, but it's just finding peace. What does that mean for you? That meaning of peace, and then be able to, yeah, I'm, I'm better than I was before. Things are working with my son. Like, my relationship with him now, it's incredible, and I love it. So, and I keep, and sometimes I forget. So it's going back and celebrating those small wins, because we always tend to just look at the big picture and the big goal, but we forget that in order to get to that big goal, we need to just take one step at a time, just focusing on that one day. What was I able to accomplish today? Okay, that's getting me closer to my goal. And but yeah, we are too, and I speak from my own experience, we tend to be so hard on ourselves. We're like our worst enemy, and we are the
And all
only
of those
ones.
little steps, all of those small
Mhm.
celebrations are your stepping stones up to that big
Yeah,
goal.
yeah. So definitely that, and just being vulnerable. I I think that that's being vulnerable is what allows you to have that connection with every other person around you, starting with yourself, that connection with yourself, but then allows you to connect with your family, with your friends, with, in this case, with my clients, which I love. And I'm always so grateful for them give me the opportunity to guide them through this process, because that was me probably like 6 7 years ago, when I needed that support. And when you find yourself like you're lost, like you don't know what to do, and then just having that support all means the world. And so that's what I'm so grateful for what I do, and I love it.
So I want to bring us back to, you said about balance, and balancing, rebuilding yourself, rebuilding who you are, like what your core, all of the pieces of who you are, your core values, what you're going to tolerate in and out of your life, taking care of yourself, all of these things, well, raising kids,
Yep.
well, growing a business. And this is where the selfish piece comes in, because mom guilt kicks in. It is a real thing, and you can't be everything to everyone. And one of the hardest pieces for me was being able to set boundaries and actually honor how I'm feeling. So, like, when it
Mhm.
comes to work, for me, this is how I find the balance, and it works for me. I have my kids every other week now. And the weeks that I have them, I will book work commitments around when they are
Mhm.
in school, so that when they are home, I get to be fully present with them.
Yes.
And the weeks that I don't have them, I work a lot. But in that, journaling, meditation, my health, my lack of fitness right now, but all of those pieces for me are a part of my job. They're a part of how I take care of me, so that I can show up for
Mhm.
everything else that I do. And I book that in as work. That is part of my job. So, hi, we have to die here. um, it can feel really selfish, but if you look at it from, I have to do this in order to be able to show up fully for the kids, be able to do
Mhm.
all of, then it's really not selfish at all.
No, you mentioned the guilt. I just feel like that's what really comes down to at the end of the day is we feel guilty for doing what we want, for being who we want to be, and in order to get to um that peace and that satisfaction of you're doing what you really want to do, like your passion, you have to overcome that guilt feeling. And it's not easy. Like you said, I think like because how to find that balance for me it comes down to consistency, just making sure that you have set like schedules. You like you said, when you're not with your kids, it's like I work, but then when they come back I'm present. I do the same when I'm not with my son. It's when I'm like, okay, this is when I need to take care of myself, go to the gym, do everything that I do, work, and then clients, and then taking care of the house and everything else that comes, my full-time job, my side job, everything. So it's just understanding that one, I can't do it all. So asking for help, asking for help whenever you
I'm
can.
really bad for that. Really
Yeah,
bad for that.
me too. Like I said, me too. I'm guilty of that too. Sometimes I'm like, oof, no, because I can't do it all. But then you just end up just being exhausted, frustrated, and then you go back to that state where you're not fully connected with yourself. So
Yeah.
it's asking for help whenever you can. It's finding the time to like when I'm with my son, I'm 100% there. It's quality time. What do you want to do? And because when I'm not with him, I allow myself to just recharge and get all the energy that I need and get all the things that I needed to do out of the way. So when he comes, it's me and you, and this is and I still tell him what I'm doing when I'm not with him because I also want to be, like we said, we want to lead by example.
Yeah.
And this is the example is mommy has a business, just, talking to clients. Sometimes he's like, mommy, how was your day today with your clients? And I'm like, good, make progress. This is amazing. He's like, I'm so proud of you. All that when he says those things is like, this is when obviously my journey started, I didn't think that was gonna be the case, and I'm like, I have to do it. But now when I hear those words, it's like it was all worth it, and it's still a process, and it's still taking time, and that doesn't mean that it's perfect. Of course, I have my ups and downs, and just like everyone, but just letting him know, hey, mommy had a very stressful day today at work, and this is what is happening. It's not about you. If I'm a little more reactive today than normal. This is not you. This is what happened. So they know
Yeah.
because I feel like that's one part that we don't tell them what's going on in our lives, and then for whatever reason something happened, we just nap. We know as a kid we take it personal, and even as adults,
Yeah.
we still adults take things personal, and we think it's all about ourselves. um, so then the interpretation of that is what they feel like, oh, it's because of me. When in reality it was something completely like non-related. And so that is when I said being vulnerable is just being that having that open communication
Yeah.
with them. Just
I am very, very open and honest with my kids because
mhm.
they like to. I've got three, right? So they like to bug me in
Uh-huh.
turns. In turns. So it's like when they are home, it's mom, 5 minutes, mom, 5 minutes, mom, mom. Mom is trying not to lose her shit right now. This is how my day has gone. I love you. Give me a moment, please.
Yeah, because something I have with like my all my clients, and I love when they come to that point where they're like, the realization point, when because most of them come to me, what can I do to make my kids stop doing this?
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. And then when we start that this self-discovery process, it comes to that point where it's like, so I'm the one that needed a
Yeah.
change. Yes. Because they are just that mirror, like I said, they're just showing us whatever we're doing, even if we think that they're not paying attention, they're always paying attention,
Always.
always. And so it's just understanding that we need to be the change that we want to see in them. Communication skills, emotional intelligence, allow them to recognize their own emotions and just sit with them with the emotion. It hurts, it does hurt, but this is life and this is how it is. We just can't keep like pretending that they're gonna be in this bubble forever. And no, because then when they actually come and face any challenges, they're not gonna have the tools that we as parents were. It's our responsibility to just here. These are the tools. Now, how you use them, that's gonna come to you. But this is what I can give you, so that whenever something similar happens, and you can at least say, "Oh, okay. How can I handle this in a more, educated way?" And that doesn't mean that they're not gonna lose their shit, like you said, or that I'm never gonna like yell at them. I still do sometimes, and I'm like,
We're
"Oh, here we
human.
go again." Just breathe and okay, here we
Exactly.
go again.
Yeah.
Apologizing. Apologizing is another one.
Yeah. If
I'm
I
sorry.
do, yeah, if I do snap, usually I love my daughter, and usually when I do snap, it's on her because she's the one that is the most persistent, and I love her for it. It's a great trait. If she wants something, she literally does not give up until she gets her own way. And if I do snap, it's usually on her, but then I will take a minute and I will
Mm-hmm.
apologize to her. And I'm like, Emma, I'm sorry. You just push mom.
Yeah.
like, but it's teaching them at the same time. And I've noticed, especially in the last week now, having all three of them under the same roof again, because
Mm-hmm.
prior to me moving here, my daughter was with me full time in the week. The boys
Okay.
were with their dad full time in the week. And then every other weekend, the kids were together.
Mm-hmm.
Every weekend we were together. That was our plan, our goal. They had to be together
Uh-huh.
weekends. We were every other weekend. I'm trying to make that make sense for you and for everyone listening in. So to have all three kids all week under the same roof. Last week was the first week, having them
Mm-hmm.
back. My second-ish week in the house, it was all of the buttons being pushed. The arguments, the personalities, there was fighting, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, we get to start all over again
Again.
because
Yeah.
it, it's all they're back together, which they love. My daughter, I mean, she loves both of her brothers, but to watch her with my oldest is just it's fucking beautiful. To see their connection. My middle
Mm-hmm.
child is learning how to regulate his emotions a little better because he is very much like his dad, and his anger is like snaps. So when he gets angry, it's like, child, pause. But
Mm-hmm.
it's being able to be that person for them again, which for my boys I wasn't because they were with
Yeah.
dad.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
it's been a lot of fun. Fun maybe isn't the right word. I know you get jealous too, and then she gets jealous that
Yes.
I've got her.
Beautiful. Well, it's not
But
easy. And they're all different
yeah,
personalities. And so that is just like out in the outside world. Everyone has a different personality. Everyone was raised differently. Everyone had experienced things differently, interpretations of life, everything. And so it all starts from home.
yeah.
Whatever they experience at home is what's gonna give them the that information for like when they are out in the world. And
And as a mom, that is when you get to come back to who you are and who do you want to be for your kids? How do you
mhm,
want to show them the pieces that they are moving through?
it's not easy.
No,
It's a it's
no,
a whole it's a journey, but that's the beauty I think in the journey. I mean, if we had everything under control, I think it would probably be boring.
yeah,
This is what brings the excitement of it. I know sometimes like I wish I'm like, oh, less trouble, less problems will be better, if it's possible, but it is what it is. And then we just yeah, just bouncing back again, back to the topic, just bounce back. How can you find your own healthy coping mechanisms and setting the boundaries, like you mentioned before? We are not, I don't think we were educated on boundaries, healthy boundaries.
never.
It's really hard to say no. It's really hard to say no or say. And then I learned something that I always go back to. It is any no or any yes is just, if you're saying yes, you're saying no to something else.
Yeah.
Simple like that. But if you're saying yes, you're saying no to something else. But it always, it goes both ways. It's just making sure that you're doing it from your, a loving
Yeah.
place.
And a
Because
place
that
that
makes a
feels good for
difference.
you, and you're not saying yes to something that you really want to say no to, just
Mhm.
out of people pleasing.
Exactly. So that's where it comes to that balance, right? Because we don't want our kids to be people pleasers, but in order for them to learn how to set healthy boundaries, we need to start
Yeah,
setting healthy boundaries so they know
exactly.
what that means.
Exactly.
And it's just part of that beautiful journey of being a mom, because now you are responsible for someone else's life and understanding that they are their own person. They're going to live their own life, but we are here just to provide them with that secure environment, a healthy environment for as much as we can. And that is the result of your self discovery, your own personal healing, because healing all those, that inner child in you that was perhaps rejected back then or that was hurt back then. And then we just keep reflecting that into, just projecting it into our family, friends, in every relation, our, relationship in your world. So it's just going back to that and understanding, yeah, we need to heal too. We need to be able to say, okay, this is what happened to me.
Yeah,
Now, how can I just learn from it, fix the lesson there, and then keep moving?
exactly. I couldn't agree with you more. And on that note, because I feel like that's a great ending, but is there anything else you want to say to the audience?
Yeah, it's just sometimes we're afraid to ask for help because we don't want other people to know what we're going through. Because it's easier when you just keep it on, for yourself. And you don't want to show that vulnerability that I was talking about before. So the last thing that I would like to say is, for your audience, my audience, if you are that mom that is feeling lost or stuck and doesn't know where to start or where to go, it's just going through a challenging situation, whatever that may be, just reach out for help. Just reach out and ask for help. Even if it's with your family, friends, or obviously having a professional support. It's someone that it's been educated not only on the theory but also like the experience of it. I feel like the best school is like life, right? From your experiences. So for every mom that is out there and you know that they feel like I want to do something about it. I don't want to keep living my life this way. I definitely want to be able to grow and learn more from my own experiences. I'm here. I'm here. Just send me a message. You can email me. This is what I love. I'm very passionate about it. And even if it's not a mom, sometimes I mean my clients are moms, but I'm still here and I still care for every person, because every human, because it's who I am, it's what I love. And if it's anything that I can do to help make this world better, I'm here. It's not an easy process, and yeah.
I love it. And we're not meant to do it alone. We are meant to do it
Mm-mm.
together. So I love that. I'm going to post your information in the caption for everyone to find you after this episode and or anyone catching the replay, so they will be able to connect with you. Thank you so much
Yeah,
for coming on the show. I love this conversation. Thank you for everyone who joined in and watched us. As always, if you want to jump into the conversation, leave your comments. We will reply to you. We are here and we would love to hear your thoughts.
absolutely. Thank you, Trish, for inviting me. This was a beautiful conversation. I appreciate it. And yeah, have a great day, everyone who joined
Bye.
us today. Bye now.